Today I want to cover 5 different things that I think that it will really help speed up your takeoff process, okay? I'm going to run through these fairly quickly. This won't be my normal, how-to type video. More so want to make sure that you're aware that these items exist. There is help content for each of them, which I'll point you in the direction at the end. But the very first one is we have auto naming. So I see this all the time. So we just uploaded this new project and we can see that the naming scheme, is less than helpful here. Pretty much everything is named the same thing. We do have auto naming actually built into Stack. So to access it, we're just going to click on one of the plan pages. It doesn't matter which one. We are going to scroll down to the bottom right-hand corner to where that sheet number is. And then if we look at the top navigation, we're just going to click over to plans. And this plan name, this little gray bar, I have a little gear wheel right there. So I'm going to click on the gear wheel and go to auto name. So we give you some text instruction. It's basically to do what I just did, make that page number nice and big in the middle of your screen. And we are going to click on draw and then do one click on the mouse, drag it diagonally. We're just making a rectangle figure right around that page number. Double click to complete it and hit start. This will run in the background so you don't need to wait on it. So I can make that little bar go away. But what that's going to do is going to name everything on the thumbnail image and also on the plans list. Okay, so auto naming, granted it's not 100%. Sometimes it'll mistake a 5 for an S or vice versa, but overall it's very, very helpful and will be far better than what you started with. All right, number 2. So while we're still talking about plans here, so I can put little check marks in the boxes. Boom, boom, boom. And I can say, as you're working your way through the 60 or 100 or 200 plans, you can put little check marks and then hit this little open. It'll open up all those tabs for you. So you don't have to do it one by one. Granted, I could just click on this one and it's going to open a tab and that's what you're used to. But as you're working your way through, deciding which ones that you want to review, it is helpful just to put a check mark in the ones that look interesting, hit open, and then that'll open in the tab. You can also, if you want to clear your screen up, hit delete, if you wanted to highlight the ones that you wanted to delete as well, okay? Next one, boom, number 3. So say in this case, I've got my plan sheet open, and I've drawn these 10-foot interior walls. And just to show you, I have my gypsum wall assembly attached. So say that we were doing great, working on our 10-foot walls, and we get to these IT offices and say that they deal with a 12-foot wall for some reason. We actually have a shortcut for this. So instead of creating a new takeoff and calling it 12-foot wall and choosing the measurement type and choosing the assembly, all we have to do here is copy this. So if I click on the takeoff name, go to copy, I can say, what, that is my 12-foot wall. Hit save. It's going to open up to the assembly. So I can say, what, we're dealing with a 12-foot wall, and maybe I'm dealing with a 4x10 or 4x12 sheet at that time, okay? Hit save, and now you're good to go. All we have to do is click on this little green arrow and then go draw our wall. So nice, quick, painless. Now you'll see we have 2 different takeoff templates, and of course it's going to specify that in the report. So using copy, now we've got my 10-foot wall and my 12-foot wall, much, much quicker to work with. While we're talking about takeoff templates here, you can also save these as templates and use them over and over again for your future projects. To do so, we're going to save it to our library tab. So I can go to my 12-foot wall, go over here to the library tab, and that's going to add it. So we just created a template. So in this case, I've got my 12-foot interior wall. It's going to remember I want that blue color, and it already has that assembly attached, okay? If you're using the plus version of the software, awesome. It's going to create that name for you. The pro side, you can add an item or assembly or multiple assemblies and set that as a takeoff, or a template. So the next time you upload a new project, your project tab here will be empty because you haven't started on it. And you can just go over to your library tab. Mine's a mess, but here is my foot interior wall. It has the assembly attached. All I'm going to do is hit the little green arrow. Again, I can make any changes to the assembly that I want to, and then immediately start to go draw. So very, very, very fast. Another thing, so if you're used to using label groups, to break up your data by floor or by elevation or by building. Label groups are typically used for um, dividing up your data by location. Let's make one really quickly here. We'll call it room. I'm going to make this one a quick one just to kind of get the point across. So say that we have room 135 and 134. I'll be plenty for us today. Awesome. So now if I was going to go draw these, I've got my set to 134. Oops, wrong one. Hop over to there, draw 134. Change my drop down to 135 and continue drawing. So what this is going to do for us, which is pretty cool, in the reports, and this works with any of the reports in the software, all of our reports by default give you everything in its totality. I brought two of these because I brought one over from the library. But now I can sort by room. So now I have my room sorting, okay? If you're doing this a lot and you're using by, elevation or building, you're doing with multi-stories, all of the label groups you make here are specifically for this project only. If you build them in the company level, so if I just take my mouse all the way to the top right to this little person icon and access the account, I can create company level label groups. So these are label groups, again, that you're going to use over and over again, and you only have to build them once. So we're going to, add a group, and it's going to be a very similar process to what I just showed you. But the advantage is once you load that new project, say we're back into our wall here, and I want to bring a label group over from the library, these are all the ones that I have created, okay? So say that I was working on an elevation or a floor. I'm just going to click on that. That brings it back into the project, and now I have all my label groups. It's really that easy. So I could take all of these, multi-select all these little guys, and say, you know what? Everyone there belongs into the first floor. So the label groups, you can either use them as you're drawing like I did the room number, or drop them all in after the fact, whichever workflow you prefer, but we can see everything on the page now is assigned to the first floor. And then the room, of course, have multiples because I have different page numbers there. Okay, all of these, I know I went rather quickly. Again, I'm just hoping to if you didn't know one of those 5 existed, to kind of bring that to your attention. Everything is here in the Help Center, so I did that a little too fast, but if you click on the little help icon, that will take you into our Help Center, which is searchable. So if you wanted to, review auto naming, if you just type the word name in, right there, auto naming. So everything is searchable right there, okay? So I hope this was helpful, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. And as always, I very much so appreciate your time. Thank you.